pooped in his big boy pants.
We're going to start this section off with another this was not in our news either.
Yeah, Tony Romo.
Oh man, there was far too much turkey that occurred this weekend, and our news section was lacking. I apologize for that. Tony Romo, done for the season.
Done for the season. Re-broke the broken bone. But we've got to put him in the pooped in his big boy pants. We can't forget how terrible he played before the collarbone was broken. Okay, 106 yards, 3 interceptions. That was with the healthy bone. So he is gone. He is out for the season. Aaron Rodgers, Mr. number 1 quarterback to start the year. 202 total yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's not what you're expecting from your big stud that cost you an early draft pick.
And if I may, I would just like to take just a quick personal second to hopefully this person is listening, and I may mock them. A person in our league. I tried several times to trade him Phillip Rivers for Aaron Rodgers. Phillip Rivers plus a package of draft picks. And this person is a big San Diego fan. No, this is just results. This is completely results-based.
You're ridiculous. He's still Aaron Rodgers. We're in a keeper league.
No.
Nobody would have taken that trade.
I'm just saying that it worked out for me.
Yes, okay, fair.
It
did work out for you.
This is completely results-based.
All right,
This is not the process.
But you can't mock him for not taking the trade.
Yes, I can.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So if you're out there, go ahead and give up Aaron Rodgers for Phillip Rivers, according to Mike, the fantasy hitman, right? How about Breeze? His streak is over. I think he had 4.
His touchdown streak?
Yeah, his touchdown streak in a row. He was almost to his own record again. I think he was at like 47 games, something like that. Throws no interceptions coming off of the bye week. No
interceptions?
No touchdowns. Well, he also threw no interceptions.
I think he threw 1.
Really?
I think so. We should verify.
You are correct.
But for Drew Brees, this is more to me. How about those Texans? J.J. Watt was destroying Drew Brees and his life and his dreams and his hopes, and the Texans defense has really turned it around.
The Texans and Chiefs are the 2 biggest turnaround defenses in football. They've just I think you can roll the Texans out there against almost anybody right now.
Sponsors have to be happy because they put a lot of cash out to J.J. Watt this year. And I remember the first few weeks of the season being like, man, you're paying a lot of money for a guy who is on a stinky team losing every matchup. And now they're getting their money.
Have you guys seen the new Papa John's ad?
Yep.
With the meat pizza and J.J. Watt.
Can't put it in his mouth.
Oh,
it's
awesome. Funny.
It's very funny.
He does a good job at that.
Yeah.
All right, so
Matt Ryan is our final quarterback.
He's the worst.
Crapped his pants. Matt Ryan, the level of regression from Matt Ryan this year has been just insane.
It's like on a Tannehill level.
Red zone interceptions start to get in your psyche.
Yeah.
You know? And he's going to get down in the red zone. And what do you think the next time he gets in the red zone, especially in 2 out of 3 weeks against Carolina, what's going to be running through his head? Every time
you
want to
know a hot tip? I got breaking news for Matt Ryan. Listen up, Matt. Throw it to Julio Jones.
No way, man. Last week.
Stop trying to get Roddy White involved so he feels better.
Not last week, but this Sunday, Roddy White out targets.
Yeah.
Julio Jones. What are you doing?
Yeah, and you lost. I mean,
That's so weird.
It is not 2012. Stop it.
It was just tough as a Julio owner. But yeah, terrible play by Matt Ryan. I don't feel any confidence starting him moving forward. I'd start almost any matchup streaming play over him. All right, running backs that just laid an egg. We have to start with the big boy. The one player in all of fantasy football that had never had a game that he started with less than 100 yards or a touchdown, the no-bust games as a starter. Todd Gurley, terrible game. 9 for 19, 1 for 11 through the air. How much of this can be traced directly to Nick Foles?
A large amount of it. And as much as Todd Gurley was my favorite running back coming out of the draft, I didn't like the team he went to because I am firmly on the record of how much I dislike Nick Foles as a quarterback. and I just thought the situation was going to be really hard for Gurley. Well, clearly Gurley was proving me wrong that he could rise above the horrificness that Nick Foles expels for the St. Louis Rams. But here it finally came back to haunt him. And Nick Foles, the freshly extended quarterback for the Rams, in one of the most Jeff Fisher moves of all time, to extend your sub-mediocre quarterback before he even plays a game. It's got to be a concern.
But this shows that Gurley is not, in fact, matchup proof. And the reason people were asking me, Chiefs D or Bengals D. I love the matchup for the Bengals at home. Gurley's the reason why I didn't say Bengals defense. It's because you figured Gurley's had success against everybody. I thought that might continue. It did not.
Well, we have to keep in mind. So his first 4 games that he started, right, 146 yards, 159, 128, 133, was just dominant, gaining yardage, which, of course, eventually touchdowns come there. But his last 4 games have not, 89, 45, 66, and 19. So
you heard it here first. The death of Todd Gurley.
No. I'm posing the question to you. Early this week, he plays the Arizona Cardinals this week. Where do you see him on a 1 week, this coming week? What rank would you put him RB?
Top 10.
You think he'll
still be a top 10 guy to me. We saw that Sean Drone had success against Arizona.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, the rest of the way, I think the only guy right now that you would want over Todd Gurley is Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So, all right, DeMarco Murray, not a good game on Thanksgiving.
What about the Lions D? Is it just the implosion of Philadelphia? But the Lions D has looked really good for
They're okay.
3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it's
garbage time touchdown to Jordan Matthews, or else he was shut down.
This is a big week for me for the Lions defense if you're thinking about playing them in the playoffs, because they put up a strong fight against Rodgers, right?
They beat him in Green Bay.
Yeah,
and so you shut down Aaron Rodgers. You take advantage of the Eagles, which you got to play the opponent that you're given. It's not their fault that the Eagles stink, but they showed up. They had a huge game. So this week, who do they play this week?
Green Bay.
Back again?
Revenge game.
This one's in Detroit, though.
Man, okay, let's put that out there. If the Lions defense can have a good game this week against Aaron Rodgers again, then absolutely, then I'll start firing them up.
If that's the case, you got a playoff schedule of the Rams, New Orleans Saints, probably not so good, and then San Francisco.
Where is the Saint game? Is it at home or is it?
It's in New Orleans.
Oh, okay. But 2 or 3 ain't bad.
St. Louis and San Francisco.
New Orleans, the way they played this week, they might be packing it in by then. I feel pretty okay. That's an okay streaming defense.
Yeah,
that's a good point to bring up. Frank Gore had a very bad game, 19 for 24, bunch of carries, no yards. Matt Forte, 15 for 44. It's hard to put him in the section of pooping his pants because he was just slipping his big boy pants back on this week with
one leg in.
He only had one leg in, so I'm gonna hold judgment back because that's not the worst game in the world for splitting carries with Langford, but we'll see.
Are they going to continue to split like that? Because they were essentially 50-50.
They're going to split like that, yeah. I mean, maybe 60-40. Yeah. That's about where I see it.
So is Langford an okay flex play for you moving forward?
Yeah, in a running back matchup.
Okay.
If they're going up against a running back or a running defense, probably not. LeGarrette Blount, 9 for 27. Blunt be blunting.
Yeah.
This is what he does.
Yep.
He'll give you 4 or 5 touchdowns in one game every 6 weeks.
Yep.
All right, wide receivers. James Jones and Davante Adams combined for 2 receptions for 14 yards. And Jason?
Yeah?
Why don't you remind everybody?
Remind everybody
about Davante Adams.
Oh, Davante Adams stinks. I said this weeks ago. He still stinks, and he's going to continue to stink.
He stunk so bad that
How bad did he stink?
that Mike McCarthy had to come out and say, not a good game. Not a good game.
He's a big reason for
dropping the ball.
Struggles.
Yeah,
because he's the guy that's supposed to come into that role that was left by your number 1 wide receiver. Let's remind people.
Jordy
Nelson.
Jordy, you burned bright.
Jordy LaForge Nelson.
You didn't burn at all.
Yeah, and
that preseason was great.
And
Oh
so,
my
you know,
gosh.
you see the need for a true wide receiver one there, and they don't have it. Davante Adams is not going to be
So
the
why
future
has
there.
why has the absence of great receivers in Green Bay not translated to Randall Cobb's as a top 5, top 10 guy? That's what I want to know, because even if they're not the best offense in the world,
I think it's. I mean, if you look at
is
it,
he regressing?
it's targets. I mean,
It's not just targets, though.
No,
he
but
can't
what
be
I'm
targeted.
what I'm saying is that when Aaron Rodgers targets Randall Cobb, his passer rating is still pretty good, but he's still targeting Davante Adams or even James Jones ahead of Randall Cobb. I don't get it. I mean, Randall Cobb, when I watch the game and I watch film, he looks good to me. He's still getting separation. He's getting a little bit more coverage because you can.
I mean,
so it's tougher, but
okay, let me show you this though. Week 11 for Randall Cobb, 9 targets, 2 catches. Okay, single-digit fantasy numbers in
that's no good.
7 of 8 weeks.
It's Jordy Nelson. They don't have someone who can open up the field. They're all bottled up. The defense knows that they can play up, and that's where Randall Cobb does his damage, is close up. That's
So
the type of receiver
we need to
he
have
is.
no expectations for Cobb to give you anything then.
No.
Yeah, I mean he's still a guy I'm going to play, but
If you're in a
but I agree that there's
I don't know. I mean, Doug Baldwin and Randall Cobb. I'll take Baldwin.
that's
It's-
gross.
After
That's gross
8
and dirty.
after 8 weeks of single-digit numbers,
that's hard to argue against.
I mean, it's just not happening for that offense right now.
Those
Are the hardest decisions in all of fantasy football is name. You
Yes.
see Randall Cobb's name and you know his potential on the field. You can go back and look at week 3.
so do
7
you-
for 91 and 3 touchdowns.
Do you drop him?
no.
Randall Cobb? No.
Yeah. Okay.
Or do you? Is it the
What,
play?
is that the sign of a good player though? Whether he's dropped?
No. I'm trying to say sometimes we hold on to guys because of the
Oh,
name
right. No, you're right.
when they should be dropped. And
So then straight up, would you drop? Let's say you're in a pickle. You've got your wide receiver 3 this week. You have no roster space. The only roster move you can make is releasing Randall Cobb and signing Doug Baldwin.
no, I would not do
I
that.
Neither of you would do that.
I wouldn't do it.
But there is a situation out there where there might be a wide receiver I would.
Do you believe Cobb will be better than Baldwin the rest of the season?
I do.
I think
I do,
so.
but I don't. I'm not like. Of course he will be.
Yeah.
I just barely think.
No, I'm not going to bet it because
Get your finger away from that water butt. Not happening.
It's just one of those very difficult things. I thought Davante Adams with the target numbers a few weeks ago.
You doing all right there?
No, still got some problems going on here. I thought he was going to ascend. He has been terrible. James Jones doesn't have enough in the tank to give you consistent week-to-week play. And if you were one of the smarter ones, the guy in our league got a huge week from James Jones, then benched him this week. And that was the right move because he was a complete gooser.
we don't have an update on Ty Montgomery for the Green Bay Packers, but he is
I think he'll be back
he
this
is a
week.
name to watch.
Yep.
That if he comes back, combined with how bad Davante Adams is, I know the Jeff Janis crowd out there desperately wants.
Is
Janis.
there a crowd? Or is
there on Twitter there is a crowd of people who
just to extend the field?
yes,
Yeah.
well they just think that Janis is a better receiver especially than Davante Adams, which from everything I've read of the team's reporting, it's just Janis's route running is a big problem for Aaron Rodgers. Janis is clearly a great athlete and can make things happen, but he just can't run the routes.
When they're in the red zone, what I'm noticing is Aaron Rodgers looks at one guy a lot, and his name's Richard Rodgers.
Right.
Somehow that's the reliable red zone target right now, or James Jones. So that's hurting, obviously, Davante Adams and Randall Cobb. Des Bryant, 2 for 26. His season is in trouble with Justin Norman shutting him down in this game, and then the quarterback situation kills Des Bryant.
Yeah,
He can still perform, but
certainly kills his ceiling. You can't
exactly.
You can't every week just say, "Oh, Des Bryant's in my top 5."
Yeah, he's not going to get a touchdown every week the way he does with Tony Romo, generally speaking. He averages almost a touchdown a week with Romo over the last little while, but not happening this way.
All right, pop quiz. This receiver received 13 targets and had 1 catch.
That would be Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah.
That's
what do you make of that? Because
watching him, he was affected by the cold or just didn't care or was lazy. I mean, he wasn't running good routes. He wasn't getting much separation. Not all. I mean, there were a couple balls that might have been a target to him that weren't catchable, but there were plenty of those where the defender was all over him, and it wasn't just because the defender was great. It was because Demaryius wasn't making good breaks, wasn't coming back to the ball, just wasn't playing that great.
All right, and the last guy I'll mention is DeAndre Hopkins.
I've been waiting.
5 for 36. He had a mediocre, not a good game.
That's a bad game.
But Jason, he's always the number one. How dare you rank him 15?
You don't even need the pub. You can just do my voice.
Yeah, that's fine.
Didn't you have him the number 1 this week, Jason?
Yeah, I did.
So you didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't. I mean, the
should
game
really
the game
narrow
flow
in your
Houston. The
really
game flow in Houston
predictions
was
right.
amazing because right off the bat you had Hoyer throw 2 touchdowns, but then they got ahead and
an interesting thing because I was trying to figure out what happened with Hoyer. The Texans had 5 players rush for 20 or more yards.
That's crazy.
Would that be Hoyer, Blue, Grimes, Polk? Who else?
Shorts had a
he played
runs.
some. They did some.
I mean, it was
Wildcat with Shorts.
It was just that's a crazy number to me that 5 guys have that many yards.
They're getting it done.
Hopkins was the 48th wide receiver in a PPR, giving him those 5 extra points in a PPR.
I'm sure him and Julio were right next to each other.
And he was 14th 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks before that he was 15th.
You heard it here first.
I'm just saying the demise.
DeAndre Hopkins.
No
matter what you do,
defend myself.
Hey, hold on. No matter what you do.
Breaking news.
Jason advises: do not start Todd Gurley. Do not start DeAndre Hopkins.
Unbelievable.
Randall Cobb's the guy you want.
I'm just saying it was not crazy to put him 15th in my rankings. You guys.
Isn't part of rankings is what the guy can do for you. There are only a few guys that can do what Hopkins does.
Yes, and you're going to start Hopkins.
And yes, I mean,
I'm just trying to defend myself.
I know it's entertaining. So.